Hello and welcome to a new video on the channel. Today's video is inspired by Serge M, who recently uploaded a video on how to create a text glow effect in Final Cut Pro. Really great video, and if you want to see the full video, I'll put the link in the description below. But what that video did do was inspire me to create my own kind of text effect using Apple Motion. So therefore it can become a plugin on Final Cut Pro for any future projects. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is open up Apple Motion and select Final Cut Title and click Open. What I am going to do first of all is delete these two layers here, and I'm going to rename the group to Glow Text. At this point I'm going to add in a new title, so I'm going to just put it there and we'll call it Glowing Text. Okay, lovely, and what we could do is just centralize that. So I'll go to the inspector, align the font to the center, and then go to properties and reset. So that should be bang on center. I'm also probably just going to increase the font size a little bit. And I'm quite happy with the font that's selected at the moment, because obviously when it's in Final Cut Pro you can change it and do whatever you want with the actual font itself. The next thing I'm going to do is create a clone mask by going up to the text and simply right clicking, make clone layer. And then I'm going to drag the clone layer below the other text. So here we can start adding a little bit of jazz to it. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a bit of blur to it. So we're going to go up to filters, blur, and Gaussian blur. And I'm going to probably set that quite high. So the next thing I'm going to do is colorize it. So again, making sure the clone layer is selected, I'm going to go up to filters, I'm going to go down to color and then colorize. You see how there's now a color in that. I'm going to leave the remap black to black, and then I'm going to choose a default color for my glow. So I'm just going to use the cyan. And I'm also at this point going to drag down here and click on publish. You'll find out why in a bit. In fact, while we're here, we'll go back to Gaussian blur, and the amount I shall also publish. So that is pretty much everything that I want to do on that. So now if we go back to the global text layer, I want to add the option for global changes. So position of the text, also the size of it, so that when you're in Final Cut Pro, you'll see all this in a bit. When you're in Final Cut Pro, you can kind of move the text wherever you want it to go and change the overall slight scale of it. So the first thing we're going to do is publish on position, and then we will publish on scale. The other thing I want to do is just add a bit of movement to it so the text can slowly grow. So I'm going to go back onto the glow text layer and then go to behaviors, basic motion, and grow shrink. So now if we watch that back, it's pretty much not doing anything. However, if I was to put that up to say 15%, you'll now see that when I play that back, there is a gradual glow to it. So that's working great. The next thing I want to do is go to the project settings and then click on the project tab. Now over here you can see the parameters that I've published. So you can see there's the overall scale, and as a default I'm going to probably just make that 100. You can also see the fact that we've got the color. Change that to glow color, and we'll change that one to glow amount. And I think what we'll do with this one is just call it global position, global scale. Okay, the only other thing I didn't do is the grow shrink. So what I might do is just publish that as well. So we'll go back to that and publish, go back to project and grow stroke shrink. I think that's pretty much it. I might just move the global scale up because it's the most likely one that I'd go to first of all. The glow amount I probably would never change. And if I make that 100% there, so yeah, okay. So at this point here, we're pretty much ready to publish it to Final Cut Pro. So the next thing I'm going to do is go on File, Save As, and I'm going to call it glowing text 2 because I've already got one that I set up as a test project. And then I'm going to select my category, which I'll make it as MC titles. At that point then we're going to just hit on publish. Okay, next thing I'm going to do is close down motion. So in Final Cut Pro now we've got our titles tab, and if I go down to MC titles, so now we've got our nice glowing text which is slowly growing, which is nice, and we've also got the controls of everything that we wanted to set in there. So you've got your glow amount, so you can take that down or put it back up. And again, if I wanted to move it around, I can use my global position. And again, if I wanted to change the scale of it, I can change the scale there. So it's really, really quite easy to use. The only thing that I would say that I'm going to change on this is add a little bit of tracking, so the letters are a bit further apart. So what I can do from here is open up the title back in motion again, basically gone into the original text, and I'm just going to add a little bit of tracking to it. So you can see there, I've just added a bit of space into it. I'm also, in fact, I'm just going to set that to 15%. 15% is always a good go-to. It's not too much, not too little. Sometimes less is more. And I shall also publish that. And because I've published a new parameter, I shall put text spacing. I'm going to hit Command and save, and I can close down motion. So now at the moment you can still see it's kind of very close together, or standard text. I will once again drag in that title, and you will now see that we've got a bit of tracking. So it's only slightly different, but it's different. And also, because we published it, you can change the text spacing in here, which means you can add keyframes to it, whatever you want. So you've got full controls over that text, simple drag and drop for all your future projects, and that to me is a bit of a win-win really. The other thing that you might want to do, if you want to add a bit more gravy to the effect, is use a free plugin that I've got, which is from Tap 5a. Absolutely amazing plugins from Tap 5a, and they're free, completely free. I'll put a link in the description to get it. A quick in-out animator. So here you can see now that we've got animation to our text, so it's flying in. But it doesn't have to be that. We can go up to our properties and we can do, say for example, fade in. So the in animation is fade in and the out animation is fade out. So now we have that fade in and fade out. The other thing that we can do with our text effect, if we're not happy with the colour of it, we can change the colour. So let's just change that to magenta, and you can see there I've now got a magenta looking glow. So all in all, I think, you know, for maybe 5 minutes, 10 minutes work once you're used to Apple Motion, very easy, very straightforward. And don't get me wrong, I'm pretty sure there's other content creators out there that can do this even better. The likes of Dylan Bates, aka the Final Cut Pro. You've got Jenn Jager, and of course, not forgetting Serge himself. So check out their channels. I'll put all the links in the description below. The next thing we can do is drop in a bit of video and add our titles on the top to see how the effect works. I'm using stock footage from a website called Pexels, which is actually completely free. So if you're looking for some free stock footage, head over to Pexels, it's your place. Let's watch it and let's see what this effect looks like on video. Yes, nice. Lovely. Hope you found this video useful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. You can also buy me a coffee. I'll put the link in the description below. Until the next video, I'll see you soon. Bye bye for now.